maybe like 12 years. And I've never ever written a piece about my parents being divorced. So yeah, so here it goes. Growing up, I only wanted one superpower. No, not flying, I'm scared of heights. Super strength seemed like I would just end up tearing all of my shirts, and telekinesis would make my head fall off of my shoulders. The only superpower I actually wouldn't mind being bothered with is teleportation. The ability to get out of the jam, the gift that provided me the chance to be somewhere else, the skill to close my eyes and open them to only sigh in relief that whatever position I was in would no longer cause me discomfort. You can imagine how let down I was knowing I didn't actually have this control. When my parents got into fights around me, I had no control. I was trapped. Less claustrophobic in my own house, attempting to suffocate myself with cushions with every, "Okay, Vicky, you're not going to talk to me like that, Jeff, not in front of the kids, I'm leaving." I would test to see how far I could push the pillow down on my face, and every time, with every dispute, I got better at holding my breath. Avoiding sounds of irrational anger, climbing up staircase throats, hallway combat using folded bills as swords, the sight of fists clenched on steering wheel necks, eyes spearing out of windows into hazy green pastures, drowning amid silence in locked cars and locked doors in my own house. My mother prepared for battle every time she came home from work. Thick skin, her only protection for her and her children, her words not enough backup weaponry. And when my father started shit with my mother in public, I became nauseated observing him exert so much energy, ripping honor from her ribcage. There was a match lit next to my face for every sorry effort my mother made to laugh disrespect off. This one time, when I was 9 3/4, my mother made me a second plate for breakfast. My mother desired nothing but for me to be happy. And at that moment, my dad walked in with a face of disgust and told me I was going to be fat forever, and then he became quiet. Stared me in my face like he saw too much of my mother and proceeded to slam eggs, bacon, and ketchup all over my 3rd grade school uniform. The house grew silent. Everyone on the TV screen held their breath. My mother clenched in pain, holding back tears and anger as she cleaned up my face, dirtied in Heinz and my father's features. I occasionally searched for a trapdoor for us to slip into. One that would snatch the remains of my mother's self-respect right under the table. I prayed and prayed for my mom and my dad to love each other. I prayed that God would do something so I wouldn't end up hating them both. I prayed that they would stay together and that I wouldn't be the only kid out of my friends with one mom at home. I told God, if I was the problem, then he should tell me. My mom always told me, whatever you ask God for, you shall receive. And after many claps, hands, and amens, I came home to my father crying in our kitchen, exclaiming my mother was leaving him. That we couldn't be a family anymore. I looked up aimlessly at the ceiling. I heard pity and too little too late remorse in my father's voice. I didn't ask God for this. I wanted a happy family and to stop being the bungee cord that held them together, but instead, God gave me a face cracked in two whenever I looked at my reflection. Here I was, a 4th grader, forced to feel emotions past classroom crushes, repeatedly cannonballed in the chest with adult agony, while still expecting to answer with a smile during this unhappy time. How was school? My size 7 feet, cinder block to the floor. 11 years old. Stressed to comprehend my father's pain all while not forgetting my mother's. I kicked my size 7 sneakers into the tile like a shovel. I figured if I did this long enough, I could bury myself and not come out until my parents decided to get back together like that movie The Parent Trap. But I knew deep down that wasn't happening anytime soon. Then I got to dreaming of my superpower. My imagination letting me leave the house. My mother found her own teleportation method in legal documents. She must have been praying for superpowers too.